Here's your wildly biased summary of From Blood and Ash, where holiness is a dress code, monsters are a marketing strategy, and the hottest guy in the room is basically a walking spoiler. If you're allergic to spoilers, consider this your EpiPen. Our girl Poppy is the Maiden, which sounds fancy until you realize it means don't laugh, don't touch, don't think, don't breathe too loudly, and absolutely do not ask why you're being saved for a mysterious ceremony called the Ascension. She smiles, she curtsies, she hides a dagger where the etiquette books forgot to check. Then a new guard arrives with a grin sharp enough to cut glass. His name is Hawk, and he's every red flag rolled into one irresistible problem. You feel that? That's the plot heating up. Buckle in. Poppy's life is a glass box. Everyone can look at her, worship her, police her, but God forbid she gets fingerprints on her own future. She's veiled like a museum exhibit and escorted like a walking relic. People speak about her in the third person while she's standing right there, which, by the way, should be a crime. Yet underneath the lace and rules is a girl who sneaks out to help the hurt, who trains with a dagger because waiting for rescue is not a personality, and who longs for a choice as simple as picking her own breakfast. She has one decent protector, Victor, whose love language is gruff lectures and better sword lessons. The priests want obedience. The crown wants symbolism. Poppy wants a life. You can hear the hinge creak on that cage, can't you? She can too. Tap like and subscribe to keep pace, because our next stop is a tavern, a flirt, and a jawline with secrets. Let's simplify the brochure nobody gave Poppy. The Ascended rule the pretty cities. They're pale, perfect, and allegedly blessed by the gods. Out in the dark, you've got the craven, feral, infected, bitey, and everyone agrees they're the cautionary tale. Long ago, there was a kingdom called Atlantia that lost the war and the narrative, and now any mention of their side of history gets swept under the velvet rug. There are dissenters whispering that the Ascended's holiness is more performance art than miracle. And looming over everything is the Ascension, a ritual where chosen people rise to something greater. Clarity burst. This is a story about propaganda. Labels are for soup cans and rulers who need you to stop thinking. Poppy's been raised on one version of truth. Too bad for the regime. She's curious. On one of those sneaky nights where Poppy tries being a person instead of a statue, she collides with Hawk. He's banter-witty, sword-competent, and allergic to direct answers. The air between them crackles like a storm over dry brush. Soon he's assigned as her guard, which is the universe handing a lit match to a room full of curtains. He pushes her to ask why. He notices what she notices and then pretends he didn't. He's gentle when she expects scolding and ruthless when she expects mercy. It's the kind of attention that feels like permission, which is rarer than diamonds in Poppy's world. File away the way he fights, the way he listens, and the way he stares like he's reading footnotes no one else can see. We'll cash that check later. Trouble multiplies. The Craven aren't just wandering anymore. They're coordinated, like someone taught the wolves to waltz. Funerals stack up. The Ascended offer solemn words and not much else. Inside the palace, the rules around Poppy tighten like a noose disguised as an embrace. Smile more, speak less, remember you exist for the Ascension. So she does the rebellious thing, she tries living, she slips out to the Red Pearl, tastes freedom, and learns how fast joy can turn to consequences. Morning brings lectures, fresh guards, and another layer of gold-plated bars on her cage. Hawk keeps showing up where danger is, and Poppy keeps proving that helpless is the worst label anyone ever put on her. Their chemistry climbs from spark to signal fire, but we're staying PG-13 here. Go read the book if you want the rest. Meanwhile, people are vanishing, the Craven act like they've got a group chat, and Poppy begins to suspect that the Ascension isn't salvation so much as a toothy tradition. The word sacred starts sounding like expensive. Then the pretty story splits. Survivors describe help that arrives late and hungrier than the monsters. Villages look protected on paper and abandoned in practice. Poppy watches the Ascended smile with their mouths, while their eyes inventory throats. Hawk asks sharper questions, the kind that leave splinters. What if the monsters aren't on the border but seated at the banquet? What if the ritual that will raise you is really a siphon? Poppy stops nodding along. She chooses the discomfort of truth over the comfort of ignorance. Clarity burst. Midpoints are where heroines break with the script and start improvising. Poppy's dagger is no longer a secret. It's a statement. And once you've seen the stain under the paint, You can't unsee it. The mask on the Ascended slips. They flinch from sunlight. They drink more than wine. Their blessings look awfully bite-shaped. Dissenter rumors harden into patterns, and Poppy's blood draws interest like it's an invitation engraved in red. Hawk moves through all of this like a man who already knows the last page. He protects Poppy fiercely, but there's a direction to his protection, a geometry that points somewhere off the palace map. The words symbol and sacrifice start landing in the same sentence, and none of those sentences end well for Poppy. Our earlier red flags are now a parade. Hawk isn't just guarding her, he's positioning the board. When the storm finally hits, it doesn't knock. It kicks in the door and sets the curtains on fire. Here we go, the table flip moment. Hawk is not just Hawk. He's Castile, the Atlantean prince your teachers warned you about. The so-called monster wearing the guard's uniform like a dare. The Ascended? Not holy, hungry. The Craven? Manufactured side effect, not divine punishment. The Ascension? Less halo, more harvest. An efficient little system where ordinary lives keep somebody else ageless. Poppy's betrayal lands like a blade between ribs. The boy she almost trusted used her nearness to learn her world, and to steal her from it. He wants leverage to free his people, and Poppy is leverage with a heartbeat. Except leverage talks back. She fights with teeth and truth, and Castile matches her, then yields in ways a villain shouldn't. He tells her the things no one else dared, even when the truth hurts him too. Welcome to Enemies to Lovers to its complicated, a relationship status that can only be updated with blood. Poppy's choice tightens. Return to a lie that ends in a gilded grave, or move forward with a man who might be a monster, or simply the only honest person in the room. She chooses survival, she chooses herself, and the world tilts to make room. The escape is not tidy. It's knives, confessions, and the kind of negotiations you can't do in a polite sitting room. Poppy stops asking permission to exist. She draws lines no one else can redraw. She fights the Craven, the palace guards, and the narrative that labeled her property. Castile, annoyingly complicated, treats her like an equal and a bargaining chip at the same time, and then starts forgetting the second part. Together, they carve a road out of other people's plans. Poppy discovers her stubbornness is a superpower, and her aim can rearrange who gets to stand in a room. He discovers that the maiden isn't leverage. She's a fuse, and once you light her, the old order goes boom. When the final confrontation arrives, Poppy refuses to be smuggled back into silence. In front of those who would sanctify or slaughter her, she declares herself, what she will fight for, what she will not allow, what future she'll burn toward if she has to. Clarity burst. This is the moment the heroine doesn't get rescued. She rescues her own voice and expects the world to adjust. The cost is trust-scorched and bridges ash, but the gain is a spine that won't bow. The veil doesn't fit anymore. When the dust settles, nothing is where it started. Poppy's status shifts from sacred symbol to inconvenient legend. Castile's label changes hourly. Enemy, ally, fiancé. It's a carousel, and she's the one who gets to yank the lever. The mission zooms out. Personal safety becomes political revolution. Bigger truths wait in Atlantia. Bigger lies rot in the heart of the Ascended's rule. The question is no longer, will Poppy obey? It's who plans to survive the person she's becoming. The road ahead promises deeper lore, sharper blades, and choices that bite back. Curtain down on book 1, curtain already twitching for book 2. Underneath the flirtations and fight scenes, this book is about consent. Consent to touch, to rule, to believe. It asks who benefits when a girl is told she's holy and therefore silent. It wonders what happens when a society builds altars out of other people's bodies and calls it destiny. Poppy's arc is choosing personhood over pedestal. Castile's lesson, painful, necessary, is that honesty is cheaper than manipulation, even when you're doing it for a cause. Enemies aren't always monsters. Saints aren't always kind. Final callback for the road. Love, laugh, stab started as a joke and ended up a thesis. Reveal cascade. The gods aren't gone, the past isn't dead, and the truth has fangs. If you're still here, congrats. You survived the ascension of knowledge. For the next chapter, bring water, a map, and a healthy disrespect for anyone who wants you quiet. If that table flip wrecked your calm, do 3 things. Like this, subscribe, and drop your battle cry. Team Dagger or Team Disaster Prince. Then cue up the sequel breakdown, because next time we're opening old wounds, older myths, and a proposal that could burn kingdoms. Your seat in Atlantia is waiting. Bring questions and a fireproof cloak. Click through now. Let's finish what the Ascension started.